As we already know, Japan and the United Kingdom both are highly developed countries. They are also under constitutional monarchy that has a long-standing history in ruling the country. But the most important fact is that both of them claim to be a democratic country in their political and social practice. And in order for us to understand and compare how those two countries practice their democracy, we need to look at their election system. Hello everyone, my name is Samita.
Hi, my name is Sophia. In this video, we are going to talk about the election in Japan and in the United Kingdom. As we have known, both Japan and the United Kingdom are democratic states with different voting systems. So, let's see how different between voter and election in Japan and in the UK. To compare about voter and election in Japan and in the UK, we see that only Japanese citizens are used to be able to vote at the age of 20. But in 2016, decision has been made by politicians to lower the voting age from 20 to 18, resulted in 2.4 million more young people able to vote in general election in that year. Moving back to the UK, for national identity, British, Irish or qualifying Commonwealth citizens are allowed to vote at the age of 18 on polling day. Also, they should be a resident at address UK or UK citizen living abroad who has been registered for voting in the last 15 years.
And in order to participate in the election, citizens need to register to vote starting from the age of 16 and meet the residency qualification.
Also, for voters in the UK, they can be registered at two places, but they are allowed to vote only one time at one place. In contrast, for voter registration in Japan, it has a family registry system.
Japan family registry system is also called Goseki Tohan, which is a really important document in Japanese household.
Whereas by law, Japanese households are required to report birth, death, adoption, marriage, and divorce to the local municipality. Therefore, when a family member reaches the voting age, they are automatically added to the voter registration list.
Now let's move on to the electoral system. First, in Japan Parliament consists of two houses, House of Councillor and the House of Representative. Election for the member of the House of Councillor are held every 3 years to choose one half of its members. And for the House of Representatives, general election will happen every 4 years for the voter to elect their representative. But there are also exceptions in the case that the parliament got dissolved before the deadline for the new general election. As we can see, back in October 2017, Prime Minister Shinzo Abe successfully dissolved his own parliament 1 year ahead of the planned general election in response to his loss of popularity at that time. Now we look at the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom also has two houses in their parliament, the House of Lords and the House of Commons. The House of Lords, their member does not elected, but they are appointed by the monarchy at the advice of the Prime Minister or appointed by the House of Lords Appointment Commission. And the member of the House of Commons, the general election held every 5 years using the first past the post voting system. Just like in Japan, the United Kingdom Kingdom can also get an early election in the case that the parliament got dissolved by vote of no confidence. Because the United Kingdom is a really big country, the power in decision making need to be divided really carefully in order to avoid conflict. And currently there are 650 constituencies in the parliament, in which 533 of them belong to England, 59 are in Scotland, 40 in Wales, and 18 in Ireland. So both Japan and the United Kingdom have Prime Minister, and here is the current Prime Minister of Japan, and here is the current Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. And due to the nature of the parliamentary system in both countries, the member of the lower house elected the Prime Minister from among themselves by majority vote. In the United Kingdom, if any party secure a majority, the Queen invites its respective leader to become Prime Minister and form the government. If the leader agrees to the post, he assumes the role immediately. However, in case there is no party to secure common majority, the largest single party could form a minority government or partner with other parties to form a coalition. The largest single party can also reach an informal agreement with the opposition party to become a sustainable government. In most situations, the leader with the most seats in the parliament would attempt to partnership or to form a coalition with other smaller parties. Now let's take a look at the differences between each country election system. The first thing is that Japan has 3 levels of election and the United Kingdom only have 1. So in Japan, the first level is the local election, which the citizens they vote for their local representative or local leader. And the second level is the general election, in which the voter vote for the member in the lower house or the House of Representatives. And third is the election to choose the member in the upper house or the House of Councillor. Another difference is that Japan has a parallel or mixed electoral system. In the House of Representatives, Japan used mixed system combining single-member district and proportional representation. For general election or election of the House of Representatives, there are 465 members of the parliament. 289 seats out of 465 are elected from the single-member district, and another 176 member list system of proportional representative in 11 large block constituency or regional block. However, in the United Kingdom, using the first past the post system to elect 650 local constituency, each constituency represented by a member of parliament, operating on first past the post basis, which means that political candidate that receive the most vote in each constituency will win the seat in the parliament. So as we already see the similarity and the differences between Japan and the United Kingdom election system, we can move on to see the challenges and opportunity that the Japan and the United Kingdom are facing in terms of democratic election. In the case of Japan, corruption and money politics is the main concern in their electoral system. The voting system in Japan gives strong incentive for candidates to use their own money to raise their political campaign, as they want to compete with each other to win in the same constituency. The politician has to raise money and establish their own individual political machine, personal support or support group known as gongai, which are essential in vote mobilization organization. The high cost of establishing these support organizations are a major cost of money politics. The support group established a strong patron-client relationship with the politician. As a result, we can see that number of the parliament members are related to each other and inherited the existing kongai or the existing support group. That is why Japan's electoral system has been reformed after 1994. Instead, to put an end to corruption and money politics, they include public funding and political parties prohibition of direct funding to individual candidates and limit the number of fundraising organizations. But in the United Kingdom, they have a very different challenge from Japan, as the main concern of the electoral system is the disproportional result of the election. The result of the election can affect the quality of democracy in the United Kingdom. As we can see, back in 2015, the Scottish National Party, or the SNP, won 4.7% of votes nationally, while they received 56 seats in the parliament. And the UK Independent Party, or the UKIP, on the other hand, won nearly 13% of the vote, while only gaining one member parliament or one seat in the parliament. This issue shows that the electoral system in the United Kingdom does not reflect the will of the people or the decision of the people at all.
In democratic state, elections are very essential tool for people to freely choose their leader. All citizens have equal rights because they have the ability to vote and to choose who will represent them and make decisions on their behalf without coercive action or any force. Besides, the government must have check and balance to limit too much power, as there are three branches of government, such as executive, legislative, and judiciary branch. All parties and politicians must have equal right to be involved in political field and run campaign without monopoly. All parties and politicians must have equal right to be involved in political field and run campaign without monopoly. That is somehow to make democratic work. However, holding election alone cannot ensure the quality of democracy within democratic state. Free and fair election should exist. More importantly, the freedom of expression. People who live in democratic state can freely express their opinion and can have some influences on the government decision making.